Hello again, my name is Gabe Zolna. This is the 12th of March 2018. Just read an article posted on Fox News. This one up on the 11th of March 2018. White House backs off call to raise minimum age to buy long guns. Well, that hasn't stopped some states from doing that. They've already enacted laws or in the process of enacting laws. I think Michigan or Illinois is one of them. In either case, the article is interesting. The White House announced a series of recommendations Sunday night meant to stop school shootings, including a full audit and review of the FBI tip line after warnings about a student who killed 17 people at a Florida high school last month were not acted upon. Hey folks, those tips were all bullshit. Nicholas Cruz is a patsy, but that's a different story. The administration did not call for immediately increasing the minimum age for buying long guns to 21, as President Trump had previously advocated. However, it did announce that Education Secretary Betsy DeVos would chair a federal commission on school safety to study the proposal. What part of the Constitution do you not sort of understand? Huh? It shall not be infringed upon. The Second Amendment shall not be infringed upon. You know what that means? The recommendations were announced nearly a month after the mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. DeVos said in a statement that the commission would look at a wide range of ideas in order to ensure that no student or family should ever have to live the horror of Parkland or Sandy Hook ever again. Sandy Hook never happened. Administration officials said they had not set a date for the commission's recommendation, but expected they'd be made in under a year. In addition to creating the commission, the White House directed the Justice Department to help states partner with local law enforcement to provide rigorous firearms training to specifically qualified volunteer school personnel, said Andrew Birnberg, director of the President's Domestic Policy Council. The administration also reaffirmed Trump's support for a congressional measure known as FixNICS that helps local officials improve efforts to enter data into the National Instant Criminal Background Check System and the Congressional Stop School Violence Act to improve school security and provide some funding for such efforts. One of the best things they could do is no longer have schools be a gun-free zone. The Republican-controlled House is expected to vote next week on a bipartisan measure. Trump is also calling on states to pass temporary court-issued risk protection orders, which allow law enforcement to confiscate guns from individuals who pose risks to themselves and others. And how do they determine that? Huh? So your wife gets pissed at you, so she calls the cops and says you're a risk, they come and take your guns away? Huh? And temporarily prevent them from buying firearms. The president is also calling for better coordination between mental health care, school officials, and law enforcement. We see how well mental health care works. We saw how well it worked in Northern California, where that ex-military personnel went back and murdered the 3 people that I believe were responsible in ejecting him out of that facility when he still obviously wasn't ready to leave, having suffered post-traumatic stress disorder. The plan was immediately panned by gun control advocates, including Brady campaign, to prevent gun violence. Americans expecting real leadership to prevent gun violence will be disappointed and troubled by President Trump's dangerous retreat from his promise. Hey, you remember when he promised that no one's going to take our guns? Remember when he said that? Remember when he said that if Hillary would be president, she'd be taking our guns? But he said no one's going to take our guns. He's going to protect the Second Amendment? Huh? Senator Bob Casey, Democrat, called the plan weak on security and an insult to the victims of gun violence. In a statement, he added, when it comes to keeping our families safe, it's clear that President Trump and congressional Republicans are all talk and no action. Hey, Bob, why don't you shut your stupid mouth, huh? What do you expect them to do, huh? You think only the rich and the elitists should have armed protection? You don't think we should be able to protect ourselves from you whack jobs? Quote, the White House has taken tiny baby steps designed not to upset the NRA. No, they've taken baby steps not to go against the Constitution, you jack-off. When the gun violence epidemic in this country demands, the gun violence epidemic is created by our government. These are all false flag events. Look at the video of the 4 cops leaving. Well, they weren't necessarily cops. I think they were a CIA hit team leaving the school. They threw their weapons in that duffel bag and they split. Wake the hell up! Listen to what Stacey LaPelle has to say, huh? Democrats in the Senate will push to go further, including passing universal background checks, actual federal legislation on protection orders, and a debate on banning assault weapons. In the week since the Parkland massacre, Trump has held in listening sessions with lawmakers, survivors of recent school shootings, and the families of victims. He's also met and spoken with the heads of powerful National Rifle Association. The NRA on Friday sued Florida over a new gun law signed by Republican Governor Rick Scott. You want to look into Rick Scott's background, go to a Wikipedia on this dirtbag that bans the purchase of firearms by anyone under the age of 21. Hey, Scott, shall not be infringed upon. You sort of get it, you jack-off? You bald-headed piece of shit. During those meetings, Trump advocated arming certain teachers and school staffers, arguing that gun-free schools were like an invitation for the very sick people to commit murder. I totally agree. There's an embedded video. If you had a teacher who was adept at firearms, they could end the attack very quickly, he has said. You want to read the rest of the article? There's not much left, but it's worth taking a look at. And again, it's got an embedded video. Shall not be infringed upon, Donald. Remember that, okay? Remember that. And 18-year-old, hey, if you can vote, you can go get a gun. It's really that simple. Thanks for listening.